If you've been a patron of North American cinema for the past 7 years, you're aware of Disney systematically remaking their animated films in live-action format. This is a smart business move, since they can increase the shelf lives and profits of their decades-old movies. While the list of upcoming Disney remakes is a mixed bag of surefire hits and debatable choices, one stands out as a clear winner: The Little Mermaid. At the helm of the Disney Renaissance, the story of the ocean princess who sacrifices her voice to be with the human prince she loves is one of Disney's most recognizable and lucrative IP. A live-action version would effortlessly reel in staggering numbers that could rival Beauty and the Beast. On March 9th, 2017, a live-action trailer for The Little Mermaid debuted. People were ecstatic. With the release of the live-action Beauty and the Beast weeks away, the announcements of the long-awaited Mermaid movie set the world afire. Hollywood news sites grouped it together with Disney's other live-action remakes, and described it as breathtaking. Reviewers, while a bit disappointed with the changes, chalked them up to a reimagining. The masses were rabid to fork over fistfuls of cash to see Disney's live-action, aquatic tour de force. But they'll have to wait years for that, because it hasn't started filming. The movie so many have swooned over isn't a product of Disney, but conglomerate media and newcomer Kingsway Productions. Kingsway is out of Tampa, Florida, with a whopping one finished film in its portfolio, while Conglomerate Media produced the biography Walt Before Mickey. Even if Disney had finished filming and post-production on a live-action Little Mermaid, it's blatantly clear this new film isn't the retelling of Ariel's quest, but a generic story that just happens to feature a mermaid. Like differentiating a Dingo Pictures film from a Disney one, there are red flags that indicate this was not made or sanctioned by the mouse. 1. The absence of a Disney Pictures production logo, or any studio production logo for that matter, in the trailer. Disney wants people to be aware of their work, and will showcase their name in their trailers. 2. The primary setting is 1940s Mississippi, while Disney's is set in 1830s Danish West Indies. Aside from the underwhelming Pete's Dragon remake, Disney has kept the times and places of their animated films and remakes consistent with each other, since they know those settings added to the original experience for filmgoers. Number 3. The storylines are totally different, a definite no-no for Renaissance titles. Did you notice how closely live-action Beauty and the Beast followed the 1991 version? That was all by design, and done so to evoke the strongest money-making nostalgia possible. Number 4. No returning characters. Why would Disney replace key players like Eric, Flounder, and Ursula with Cam, Elle, and Locke? Number 5. The lack of Alan Menken's score. Music is integral to the animated musical, and Disney would include those notes in their trailer. Number 6. The mermaid's name isn't Ariel, but Elizabeth. With all of these glaring inconsistencies, why were people tricked into thinking this is a Disney film? Because of the name? The original fairy tale is public domain, so anyone could use the title. Perhaps the biggest factor contributing to the confusion is the cryptic nature of the trailer itself. The exclusion of a studio identity does not indicate this is Kingsway and Conglomerate Media's. Was this anonymity deliberate, with the intention of creating confusion? Why does the circus poster depict Elizabeth with red hair, a green tail, and purple shell top, when she's a brunette with a blue tail and blue scales covering her chest? Were the dead ringer first 4 notes of When You Wish Upon a Star at both the 125 and 140 marks of the trailer a fluke? One can't deny that it all seems a bit fishy. Okay, so what does the trailer show us? In the 1940s, reporter Cam gets a tip that a Mississippi circus is showcasing a mermaid. Cam and his little sister Elle travel to the magical, mosquito-infested backwoods and find Villain Locke Circus, where Elizabeth does indeed exist. Elizabeth sings a bland song in a tent. She's able to sprout legs and walk on land, but how she does so is a secret that will only be revealed in the film. Now, how can I sleep with such a burning question looming in my mind? Elizabeth tells Elle about a mermaid legend that describes how a human girl is blessed with the heart of a mermaid. But oh no! Locke is holding Elizabeth captive by keeping her soul trapped in a vial, and if she flees without it, she'll die. We see Locke attempting to stop a train with an outstretched hand, enveloped in a red aura, random chases, and swimming shots. The final clip shows an imprisoned Elizabeth telling Elle that she has the heart of a mermaid. No, really? Of course she's the girl. She's the only girl in the movie. It's set to release this summer, which can mean any time from May to August. This movie looks exceedingly dull. I guess it's intended for kids, what with its low stakes, talking down to, and safe tone, but unlike a good kids film, the trailer doesn't show any real enchantment or fun. It mentions magic twice, as though this thing is dripping in it. One of these said instances shows the fortune teller extinguishing a candle flame with a flick of her fingers, but it lasts less than 1 second. I had to watch it twice before I could see what happened. It was that rushed. With all the talk of magic, you'd think they'd want the shot to linger a bit. And now, I have to address the cinematography. The lighting is inadequate on the actors' faces, and the shots are shadowy, leaving most of the clips slightly out of focus. Did I mention the framing? There's barely any headroom above the characters, and simple movements result in the tops of their heads slipping out of frame. At the 18-second mark, Cam is scrutinizing a newspaper, and the top of his hair is out of frame. As though the camera operator suddenly realized this, the camera angles up ever so slightly, and voila! Cam has space above his head. Overall, the framing throughout is distracting, showing unnecessary close-ups and ignoring the rule of thirds. Look at these examples of bottom-heavy composition close-ups. There's too much focus below the chins. Their eyes don't fall on the natural eye line, which is down 1/3 on the screen. The result leaves the shots unbalanced, and it was one of the first things that stuck out to me when I first saw it. This rendition is, supposedly, based on the Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale, and even lists him as one of the writers on Internet Movie Database. Alright everyone, gather round, it's story time. Here's a summary of the fairy tale. A mermaid princess swims to the ocean surface to observe the world above. She witnesses a birthday celebration for a prince on a ship, and she falls in love upon seeing him. She rescues the prince after a storm sinks his ship, and she leaves him on a beach, where a young woman finds him. The mermaid returns home, lovesick. Her grandmother informs her mermaids don't have souls, and turn into sea foam when they die. The mermaid visits the sea witch, who offers her legs in exchange for her tongue. She warns the mermaid that if the prince marries someone else, the mermaid will die the following day. She agrees to the offer, and swims up to the prince's castle, where she grows legs. The prince finds her and cares for her, still longing for the woman who discovered him on the beach. One day, he visits a neighboring kingdom to meet his potential bride, who turns out to be the woman from the beach. He then marries her to the heartbreak of the mermaid. Her sisters appear to her in the night and inform her if she sacrifices the prince, the sea witch will spare her life. She can't bring herself to harm him, and throws herself into the ocean. Instead of turning into sea foam, however, she's retrieved by ethereal beings, who tell her she'll become an angel in 300 years. As you could see, the Kingsway Little Mermaid has as much to do with the fairy tale as Disney's Pocahontas has to do with historical facts. Say what you will about the inaccuracies of the Disney version, at least there are parallels between it and the story. A major discrepancy is Elizabeth's trapped soul, which, according to its alleged source material, mermaids don't have. There's nothing about this movie that earns it the title. It might as well have been called Dumbo, since it's set in a circus. This is merely a banal save animals / creature from underdeveloped villain flick that mirrors Free Willy more than Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tale. This is a prime example of a drafting opportunity, more commonly known as a mockbuster. Mockbusters share similar titles or artwork of the counterparts on which they're capitalizing. Studios like The Asylum, Good Times Entertainment, Dingo Pictures, and Video Brinquedo are notorious for this practice. Enough people are hoodwinked into thinking these pieces are bona fide that the low-budget works, more often than not, turn a profit. In 1994, Warner Brothers took this one step further with their film Thumbelina. Test screenings had earned tepid marks, so Warner Brothers, assuming the testers were biased, slapped the Disney Pictures logo onto the movie. The new screening scores saw a marked improvement. While Kingsway and media conglomerates haven't erroneously added Disney's logo to their trailer, it's hard to believe that they didn't consider the possibility of people being deceived if they removed their name. The original title wasn't even The Little Mermaid, it was A Little Mermaid, which can still be seen as the film's website URL. This explains why the flick has nothing to do with the fairy tale. Most likely, the initial test screenings scored poorly, and the studios figured tweaking the title would garner better results at subsequent screenings. While some still think this is Disney's, many caught on to the truth as soon as the trailer debuted. The Little Mermaid YouTube channel disabled all comments on the trailer, no doubt due to the scorching backlash. Regardless, this film still shows in Disney's live-action Little Mermaid search results. Will people want to watch this? Because of mistaken identity? Yes. Based on its own merits? Hardly. The trailer exhibits low energy and doesn't look enthralling or mystical, even with a mermaid, and won't stay afloat in the sea of summer flicks, or the collective conscience. What will critics think about it? They'll say the presentation lacks life, spoon-feeds the viewers, and is forgettable. Audiences will find it tedious. Most children older than 7 will deem it boring. Even the younger ones won't be tricked, and will overwhelm adults with questions as to why it's so different from the Disney version. Was it a good idea to make this? For a quick profit, sure. Enough folks are still under the impression the upcoming flick is Disney's, and with a budget of only $4.5 million, it could quickly earn back that amount. Even if it only sells 1 million tickets at the average price of $9 a piece, it earns $9 million. As more people discover it's not Disney, though, the chances of it making even that much slim. This flick is being released during the most competitive season for cinema. Scads of films bombard theaters during the summer, all trying to one-up each other, with competitors like Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Alien Covenant, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, Wonder Woman, Cars 3, Transformers The Last Night, Despicable Me 3, Spider-Man Homecoming, War for the Planet of the Apes, and Dark Tower, landing in theaters from May 5th to August 4th. The Little Mermaid could find itself buried beneath a tidal wave of blockbusters. The ace up its sleeve is the mistaken identity, but that charade can only last for so long. For being their first film, Kingsway is making a bold move releasing it alongside major studio heavyweights. Perhaps they should have chosen a less competitive time during the dump month of February for its debut. Then again, August through September is a slow period for movies, so maybe their projected summer release is mid-August. What will be the lasting impression? Years from now, the Kingsway Little Mermaid will be commonly known as that other mermaid flick, and audiences will laugh at their folly in presuming it had been Disney. Folks' knee-jerk reactions in thinking this is the retelling of Ariel, especially when nothing in the trailer indicates it, well, except the dubiously colored artwork, is a testament of how thoroughly Disney's adaptations have ingrained themselves in audiences' minds as being the defaults, and mockbuster companies use this to their advantage. Do people really believe the Mouse House would release 2 live-action juggernauts within months of each other, even when there were never teaser trailers a year ago for The Little Mermaid? In 2016, a live-action Beauty and the Beast showed up in cinemas, but no one mistook that for Disney. Why is this different now? On March 12, 2017, Kingsway proudly proclaimed on their Facebook page that the trailer had earned 14 million views in 2 days. Sure, when a studio omits their own name, changes the title to something people have been anticipating from a competitor, and includes artwork and musical notes similar to said competitor, of course a trailer will get 14 million views in 2 days. Something tells me, though, that the actual film won't accumulate that many views. I wonder what the next film is. Really? Someone's got a gripe about it, and that someone is Marplotic.